I find it's helpful for me to walk and to meditate. And when you're walking, you're usually quiet. And I get a lot of my inspiration from my art in nature. You know, most of my artwork is inspired by nature, or I'd say practically all of it. And whether it's colors or shapes. And so I find going out into nature on some of the preserves, there's a certain sense of harmony to the plants that are there, especially where you know, these preserves have not been disturbed by man, or either maybe managed to mimic nature, like with fire, and you see the rejuvenative situation with these after a burn. You know, you get wildflowers coming back, and then you get a diversity of wildlife. And so the more you look, the more you can see, and it's sort of like looking at let's say a Persian rug, you know, and you look at the design, and the more you look at it, the deeper you can go. And I take those ideas into my art, and I put a lot of detail in my art where form follows function in the artwork. So in my walks, it's more experiential. It's not necessarily just scientific, but it's experiential and just experiencing nature. And I'm always looking for inspiration, whether it's in a stone I pick up, you know, the color, the shape, or if it's an animal I see, or it's just a feeling I have in nature. And so it's you know, my wife and I are Quakers, and so our Quaker worship is a silent worship, and so I feel that you know, in a sense, that hiking in nature is like a spiritual experience. Artists who are aiming at an end goal and they reach it, it's a sad state of affairs, because, you know, they have no more you know, no more drive. And I think an artist, you know, there's a certain sense of wanting to obtain something you can't quite grasp, and it keeps pushing you. And I think that when you do obtain your goal, you sort of lose your motivation. And I could remember when I first started sculpting, and my first stone piece was, I asked myself, could I do this? Am I capable of doing this? And then I was able to do that, and it was like, and then the next one was, could I sell this work? And then, you know, there was new art that came on, and I started doing bronze and different subjects. And so sometimes when I master something, almost the drive sort of leaves me, and so I need to have a new goal, you know, something else that I'm not sure I can obtain, so I have to challenge myself. So it's more about being challenged. I think the ultimate goal is continuing to be challenged, and never give up that idea of, you know, when you're young, you know, you're always striving for something, and if you reach satisfaction, then there's no more you know, there's no more striving. So you should always, you know, always have a goal. Knowing when a piece is completed is probably the most important thing for an artist, any kind of artist, and you know, there's nothing worse than keep tinkering and getting obsessed about when a piece is finished. Usually for me it's a feeling. It's a feeling of satisfaction, and when I can stand back. You know, a lot of times in my studio, it's a very cramped studio. The ceiling's only about 7.5 foot tall, and the light's not exactly right. And sometimes I take my finished piece outside, and I look at it and I spin it around and I see it in different light, and then I can start to see if I'm actually finished, if it all holds together. You know, there's a lot of lessons to be learned in your art, and I think it's an ongoing lesson in life. It's not, you know, something you've reached and then you've got this aha moment, but it's about discovery. It's about expressing yourself. But I believe, you know, probably the deep core of what I feel about my art and what it means to me, and maybe it's a lesson for everybody, is that everybody has that within them. Everybody has that creativity in them.